Education Ministry for Edo don't come out with Ogbonge plan to move education matter to the next level. To deliver quality education and contribute on the achievements of Edo State government for education matter, Edo State Ministry of Education don't do press briefing with education stakeholders and Tori people to show their plans for 2022-2023 academic session. Commissioner for Education, Dr. Joan Osaoviawe, talks say government don't do Ogbonge work to reform basic education for Edo State, and this time, then go focus and constantly transform senior secondary school education for the state. She talks say government, they use 3 areas when be academic improvement, co-curricular activities, and school governance.
Since I was sworn in October 2021, we've been doing a lot of work, a lot of planning, stakeholder engagement across the state. We have met with our secondary school teachers. We have met with a cross-section of principals across the 18 local government areas. We have held town hall meetings just to make sure that the ministry feels the pulse and understands the pain points of parents and other stakeholders, so that whatever we are presenting to the good people of Edo State as our package for education reform would reflect the needs and the yearnings of everybody. We are here today because of His Excellency Governor Godwin Norerase Obaseki and his abiding commitment to reenacting education in Edo State. This reenactment of education covers the full spectrum from basic to tertiary. And so far for this year, we have really concentrated our efforts to senior secondary education reform, as well as to consolidate all the gains that have been made in the last 3 years in basic education. By next year, first quarter, you are going to start seeing efforts, activities being rolled out in the area of tertiary education. The quality of education students are receiving in our schools, particularly in our public schools, has come under scrutiny recently in Edo State due to the high rate of malpractice and misconduct reported during major examination exercises in the state, as well as the lack of personnel, teachers, in many of our schools across the 377 senior secondary schools we have in the 18 local government areas. In order to build on the achievements already seen in our basic education subsector during the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation, EdoBest, the state government through the Ministry of Education has been compelled to take decisive action under the EdoBest 2.0 reform framework to address concerns with senior secondary education. Our reform in the senior secondary subsector is intended to have an impact on students' learning as well as on school administration in 3 key areas: academics, co-curricular activities, and school management.
For academic improvement, Dr. Oviawe talk say them don't create uniform timetable when go make sure say students for public school for Edo State receive lectures the same time, and this one go help organize the learning process. She constitute mouth for other academic improvement like classroom libraries to help improve the reading habits of children, digital learning, and uniform scheme of work.
We want to ensure that students are prepared to meet performance expectations in a constantly changing workplace and remain relevant. We have reimagined academic activities to reflect the following. 60% of our school timetable is now dedicated to activities for teaching, learning, and instructional time. 24% of our school timetable addresses co-curricular activities, while 16% of our school timetable are for brain-stimulating activities for students. Together, we are in our timetable 100% of the allocated time covers all 3 domains of learning, known as the psychomotor, affective, and cognitive domains. We have designed our school calendar to cover the full academic year, So whatever is going to happen April next year, April 2023, as of August 5th, 2022, we already know. And therefore, everybody in our non-tertiary education subsector are expected to follow this harmonized calendar. The school timetable will also ensure that all our students, no matter where they are attending school, whether in Benin City or Edo, or at Ikakumo in Akoko Edo, or in Ajoki riverine area in Ikobaoka, and anywhere, whether rural or remote, semi-urban, they are learning the same content and at the same pace. And so we have earmarked up to 400 hours of learning over the period of one term. We have a uniform scheme of work that meets the Nigerian national curriculum and goes a little bit further than that. We have also now, in order to bring back the culture of reading, we are going to be rolling out a new campaign or program initiative called Every Classroom a Library. Every classroom a library. While we are waiting to have libraries in all the 18 local government areas, in line with the ongoing reform of the Edo State Library Board, in the interim, we plan to have mini libraries in each classroom, and the students will serve as librarians in their classroom library, check out the books, bring them back, and so on and so forth. As we've gone around our schools in the last 3 terms, one of the recurring complaints from our teachers is that a good number of our parents are not providing the requisite materials for their children to learn effectively at school. Some parents don't even provide exercise books. A good number of them are not buying textbooks. And so without these tools, these children will not learn effectively. In order to bridge this gap, the ministry has now taken it upon itself to produce a very comprehensive back to school list. And we are releasing it early enough so that parents, well-intentioned philanthropists out there, can start working towards providing these back to school basics for our students. In partnership with UNICEF, we are also going to be rolling out digital learning in our senior secondary schools. At the basic level currently, the teachers have tablets, the students don't have. At the senior secondary level, the evolution of the work we've started that Governor Obaseki has started in basic education reform. At the senior secondary level, both the teachers and the students will have access to digital learning tools. And so the first set of 650 teachers that are going to be trained in digital learning will happen this August, ahead of resumption in September.
She talks say to address the lack of teachers for public school, Governor Godwin Obaseki don approve the employment of 3,000 teachers, and the first phase go see the employment and training of 1,000 teachers.
We know that since 2008, teachers have not been employed in Edo State. And so early this year, the governor graciously gave approval for SUBEB to employ 3,000 teachers. At the senior secondary level, I expect by Tuesday next week to receive from the committee that has been working on the recruitment for senior secondary teachers, I expect to receive the list of the first 1,000 teachers that have been shortlisted. So for the first phase of the recruitment for senior secondary school teachers, 1,000 teachers will be shortlisted, trained and deployed to our schools by the time school resumes in September.
For area wey concern co-curricular activity and school governance, Dr. Viawe talk say public school go begin dey do excursions and dem go bring back principal corps to help students build their talent for sports. She con still talk say the ministry go set up school management board wey go help do check for the operation and management of public schools.
We have looked at what the offerings we have for our students. We have looked at existing school clubs. and we have streamlined them. By streamlining, it means that every student would be expected to be a part of a club. And let me also use this opportunity to appeal to all the NGOs and churches and other allied organizations out there. We get a lot of requests every day in the ministry requesting permission to go into our schools and hold seminars on a wide variety of topics. We have looked at it and determined that instead of everybody trying to do their own thing, imagine if every time an NGO or any other organization requests a permission to pull our students out of the classroom. Cumulatively, that's a lot of hours our students are losing in learning. So what we are now saying is, instead of coming to do your own thing, work within the existing structure of our schools. So we don't want to have a proliferation of school clubs and the students are not really engaging with those school clubs. So any NGO or group that want to have some kind of co-curricular activities in our schools must now work through existing school clubs. We have now introduced what we call Social Impact Day. On Social Impact Day, we are asking all the NGOs and churches and organizations that want to come and hold a seminar to come that day and interact with our students. The second half of Social Impact Day is actually geared towards students' volunteerism. From an early age, we want to start teaching our learners the values of giving back, the values of public service. So on Social Impact Day, the students are going to interact with a wide variety of people and also give back to the community where their school is located by engaging in various public service activities. In addition, we have also introduced Teacher Appreciation Day. We believe that our teachers deserve to be encouraged, deserve to be appreciated. It is not easy, but they are giving of their time and effort and professional expertise to train other people's children. And for that, we want to appeal to parents, communities, alumni association, and every good stakeholder that are out there, that on Teacher Appreciation Day, our teachers should be appreciated. We have introduced excursions. Inter-house sports is now compulsory. Excursion is compulsory based on the directives of their excellencies, the Executive Governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, and the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shoaibu. We all know he's a lover of sports. We have been directed to bring back Principal's Cup. And I'm happy to announce that the Ministry of Education is bringing back Principal's Cup. We have a very robust sports development plan that includes athletics, ball games, and calisthenic exercises. In terms of school governance, we have put together at the senior secondary level school management board. In fact, we have gotten tremendous interest from across every spectrum of our society. I want to use this opportunity to really appreciate, on behalf of the Edo State education ecosystem, those illustrious men and women from Edo State, friends of Edo State, who live in Edo or in Nigeria or in other parts of the world, who have already signed up to be members of our school management board. The role of the school management board is to help in the operational oversight of our schools. Every secondary school, senior secondary school, is going to have a school management board, and the principal of that school is the secretary of the board. On the board also is a representative of whole students of the school, the alumni association of the school. A parent of a student would also be on the board, a representative of the Parents Teachers Association as well, and a representative of teachers in that school. Together with the school management board, the ministry anticipates that we will have better outcomes in terms of our school management.
Dr. Joan Oviawekon received the harmonized academic calendar for 2022-2023 academic session from the Education Resource Center.
On behalf of the department, we present to you the harmonized academic calendar. And the Honorable Commissioner said that the way our public school children they dress to school, that she is not too comfortable. She insisted that the department must provide to the public back to school list. Ma, on behalf of the department, once again, we present to you back to school list.
The commission constantly answer questions from Tory people when concern primary 6 exam results, discipline of students, repair and security of public schools.
Infrastructure is a big issue across the board. A lot has been done at the basic level, and we still have some ways to go. At the senior secondary level, we all know that's one area that has been abandoned for so long. So even the federal government is now trying to do something as well. With the recent establishment of the Secondary School Commission at the federal level, there's now a Secondary School Commission which will perform similar role as the Universal Basic Education Commission with the counterpart funding for infrastructure. So in Edo State, we are currently working to revise the laws that set up the Post-Primary Education Board, change the name to reflect the new governance structure from the federal level. And then also, at the moment, working with the Post-Primary Education Board, we have been asked to collate all the infrastructural needs in all our schools and then cost them so that government knows the extent of the work that it needs to do. Like I said, if you also go to our school, forget that at the senior secondary level, that is one age group that is young and restless. And so what we've tried to now do, beginning in September, every minute that our students are in school should be accounted for. They should be engaged in productive ways. So all these things become a habit because they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we want to make sure that our students are engaged. We are going to ensure that all our school heads, there's going to be, in fact, beginning next week, we are inviting all our existing principals for an interactive section. And then we have also now put out internal recruitment notice for teachers who are interested in the various leadership positions that have now been created. After that, they are going to go through training. We are going to give them the tools they need to be able to do their work. And we are going to put forth very clear performance benchmarks. If you are a principal of a school, you should be able to manage that school and control your students. When we were writing the primary 6 exam in June, I did come on here and promise that by August, the results will be out and that by September, we will clear all the outstanding certificates yet to be released. And I want to say that we are very much on track to fulfill that promise. As I speak to you now, the primary 6 exams have been marked. The primary 6 exam has been marked, and the results will be published next week. And we are going to also begin to produce the certificate.
Festus Alenke, when be the chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Edo State chapter, come talk say this press brief now Ogbonge way to inform the public about what the ministry they do to improve education for the state.
I want to say that this press briefing to us as journalists is very worthwhile because it creates an avenue for adequate press interaction with your ministry. A lot of burning issues, I think they have all been resolved today, especially in the area of infrastructure and other aspects that have to do with employment of teachers. So I want to assure you that these stories will go down as roots. I will take it to the appropriate quarter, and that is the problem. So let me quickly also use the opportunity to appeal to other ministries to emulate the Ministry of Education Because what has just happened today will further prevent journalists from writing the wrong stories. Because we are giving them what they want, and it's now left for us to dissect them and take to the public. So when we approach some other ministries, sometimes we find it difficult to have access, and then gives room for more. So we thank you for this audience, and my very respected colleagues, let's do the needful by ensuring that these stories go to the grassroots.
Omo Aluke Ajakaye, TMC TV News.